Welcome to the inaugural Final Buzzer podcast. On this week's edition, we'll be discussing week 1 of the upcoming NFL season. With me, I have
Dylan.
You got Austin.
Alex.
Noah.
And I'm Jack.
Alright, right now we're going to start on the AFC side of the division, starting out with Buffalo, Baltimore. What do you guys think of that first game in week 1?
Go ahead and say I have Baltimore 100%. Buffalo has too many questions.
I think Buffalo's got a good chance coming out winning this game. They had a most recent playoff berth last season, first in like 14, 13 seasons, whatever. I think they're going to come out.
Thanks, Andy Dalton.
I believe it.
The GOAT.
I'm definitely going to have to go with Baltimore on this one. The defense is just too strong for Buffalo's offense.
Maybe Joe Flacco can have one of his elite years out of his many.
That's a big question coming out of Baltimore now, the quarterback battle. Who do y'all think is going to win that one?
Joe Flacco for sure, at least for the first half of the season until he decides he wants to be average Joe Flacco again.
I think that Joe Flacco is going to finish out his contract and then be replaced by Lamar.
I think halfway through the season, I think Lamar will start getting a shot. I don't know if he necessarily takes the starting role, but he'll get reps.
He didn't do very good in the preseason game, did he?
He looked all right tonight.
But especially in the Colts, I think he threw a pick.
Did he?
I'm not 100%
Say,
sure.
I kind of stopped watching earlier on,
yeah.
but
Like I said, I think Buffalo. I think you're really underestimating that offense they got going on. They got Corey Coleman, Kevin Benjamin, got LaShawn McCoy at running back. I still think they got a strong chance to win that one, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next game with Pittsburgh-Cleveland.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Easy.
Definitely
I don't think
Pittsburgh.
it's really
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Got everybody.
All right. Next.
Bengals and the Colts.
That's a toss-up. That
No,
really
it's-
is a toss-up.
It's Cincinnati. It's the Bengals all the
You
way.
gotta think though. What if you still have Andrew Luck can come out as clutch Andrew Luck, and
Even though he's been out for
he
2
still
seasons.
has Ty. He still has good players around him.
But he doesn't have an offensive line.
So I'm
Just to fact check you, Lamar 7 of 15, 49 yards, 1 TD.
one TD. All right. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals on this one. I just feel like the Colts have too many missing places on their roster. I mean, yeah, Andrew Luck's a god when he's back, but he's coming off of an injury from not playing 2 years, and he only has Ty on his team. So he's, that's going to be tough to overcome a tough Bengals defense.
I think the Bengals are actually a real question mark for this year. We have no idea what
They are.
what
I
they
agree.
could
Both
do.
those teams are big question marks. I think Indianapolis, they got a good chance maybe start out better later in the season, but definitely first week or whatever, it's going to be a lot of seeing who vibes who well with who.
I think the Bengals are in a year of player development. I think it'll be hard to pick out how good or how high their ceiling is and how low their floor. Strictly based on Joe Mixon and John Ross, seeing if they can have a bounce back year with a good offensive line. And Indianapolis has just got too many question marks.
Do you think Cincinnati's season rides on these guys, Joe Mixon and John Ross?
They're all in.
All in?
They're all in.
everybody's in.
All in.
Do you think? So as a group, let's just go ahead and take a poll. I could go either way. I feel the group is mainly leaning Bengals, so I'm down to lean
Absolutely.
Bengals.
I'm leaning Bengals, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
let's
the
lean
Bengals.
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 All right.
Big.
I just want to point out one thing. AFC North is looking great right now.
Absolutely. All right, next one we're running into, we got Tennessee, Miami. I'm going Tennessee.
I'm going
Marcus,
Tennessee.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota, especially in those playoff games, I don't think he's reached his peak yet. Even though he struggled, especially last year, I think he threw more picks than he did touchdowns, something crazy like that, or it was very close. I think they're just missing a couple more parts. They got that dual threat backs going on there. Tennessee, I think they got a great chance to make another playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, Miami, what are you doing? You got rid of Jay Cutler, didn't re-sign him or anything. Like,
I mean, Ryan Tannehill's a god, man.
I mean,
what do you expect?
Smoking Jay.
Smoking Jay. Get rid of, what is it, Jay Ajayi and Jarvis Landry over last season. It's going to definitely look for a rebuild year there in Miami this year.
It's
I think
definitely
they're lost. Miami's lost.
For sure. I think they've been lost.
For
so.
sure. Yeah, it's
Alright.
been a sinking ship.
How do y'all feel about Derrick Henry? How do you think he'll come out this year? He's a massive man.
He's a massive man. I think especially it'll help lighten that load or whatever there with that other back there. Really, especially on third downs, things like that, takes a little bit of pressure so they can both be successful in the roles that they want to play.
Definitely a 1,000-yard back this year.
It's bold.
Bold.
Absolutely.
Bold.
So we can check on that though.
You heard it first here, the Final Buzzer podcast.
We'll fact check that later.
Yeah. All right.
New England versus Houston. This is really a toss-up. Who we got?
All right. So
Does the 40-year-old grandpa do it again?
I'm not saying this because I got Deshaun on my fantasy team or anything, but I'm gonna go with the Texans. If JJ can stay healthy the entire game, I mean,
Not even the entire game. The entire game. He's gonna last one game.
just the entire game, yeah.
I mean, we got the same issue over there with old Gronky Gronk. See what elbows can do.
Yeah.
You can never count on Tom Brady, and I'm not going to do it here. Not in week 1.
Yeah,
just can't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I just think the Patriots have so much talent, man. Like even though Eric Decker's had a couple rough years, man, especially with that offense that Bill Belichick has continued to build and that dynasty that he's built over there, man, he can make any player look great. Like even at running back, he's looking at Sony Mitchell. Who's that other running back? Something White. I can't remember his
James
last
White?
name. James White. I just think they have a great shot to again come out. They're Super Bowl contenders every year, and I don't think it's any different this year. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to smack Houston in the mouth. I don't think they're ready for them. They come back, lost to a second string quarterback. I just don't think Houston has a chance.
A little unrelated here. Do you think Belichick's done when Brady's done?
Absolutely. I think that
Absolutely.
as soon as Brady or Belichick, whoever decides to retire first, I think give them a couple years later after that, and I think they'll retire happy. Belichick is getting a little bit older, but like I said, it's not like there's a limit on coaching. Like,
And Tom Brady doesn't look like he's slowing down.
I bet
Absolutely.
the trio in New England leaves all in the same year.
that's absolutely possible. I can see it.
So we're going New England.
New
New
England.
England,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right. Kansas City versus the Chargers. Who we got?
All right,
Chargers.
definitely Chargers.
Chargers.
Absolute Chargers. I think Kansas City had a great start last year, especially with that offense, the Kareem Hunt, things like that. But I just see a sophomore slump coming for him. No one really expected him coming out there, hitting them in the mouth like that, coming out,
Everybody's
1,000-yard
gonna- You got to
back.
figure out that game.
Absolutely, yeah.
And,
It's going to happen.
With them trading away Alex Smith, it leaves a lot of question marks. I know that they're really confident in Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, the man's got a cannon, and that's it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's all he had at Texas Tech, and that's all he has now.
And even in that Chargers roster, man, it's looking better and better every year. I think Phillip Rivers got a few more years, but that defense, you got Joey Bosa, offense, you got Melvin Gordon, things like that. I just think it's a perfect storm coming together for Los Angeles, and I think they're going to make it pretty far, especially there in their division.
Right.
All right, you want to move on to the NFC games for the week?
Yeah, absolutely. We got all the AFC.
Let's start out with Falcons versus Eagles.
Thursday Night Football.
Champion.
First game,
Super Bowl.
September 9th.
Super Bowl champions. How we feeling about them this year?
Is Carson Wentz going to be healthy for game 1?
No, they're saying more than likely he's out game 1,
Mm.
and he's on my fantasy team. So it looks like I'm starting Alex Smith.
I still feel like Atlanta comes out of my division. A big Tampa Bay fan, but I do think Atlanta might have them here. I think with again Matt Ryan, got Julio, Devontae Freeman, things like that. They got a nice defense going in there. You got Mohamed Sanu still in Atlanta. I think they can't. They're only last year or the year before they were in the Super Bowl. I think they still got a great chance to come out, win the NFC this year,
Sure.
and be Super Bowl contenders this year. I think they
The-
beat Philadelphia in the
The
beginning.
one
'cause
thing initially was brought up was Carson Wentz. Let's not forget Nick Foles did win the Super Bowl.
He did.
He is hurt. He got hurt again week
Did he
2.
get hurt?
Yes,
Preseason,
it was. I don't think it was a
Is it
serious
bad?
injury. I don't think it's serious, but
Okay.
I think he said he'll be returning next week for the preseason. But still, he's
Okay, so
he's a backup quarterback. I mean,
no, he is.
It's
Well,
a great.
he's a proven backup quarterback.
Absolutely, I agree.
Is Matt Ryan overrated?
I think his receivers make him great. Austin Hooper out there, one of the better tight ends,
Julio
especially
Jones,
emerging.
one of the best receivers.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I think he's a little bit overrated, but
He gets saved a little bit.
yeah, the weapons that he has absolutely helps.
So are we
him.
going Atlanta?
Absolutely, Atlanta. I'm saying by a landslide.
I'm saying Atlanta by a field goal.
By a field goal.
I'm saying it's close. Touchdown or less.
I can see it being close.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great game to start the season off.
I
hopefully.
honestly wouldn't be surprised either way, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to start off the next game with San Francisco and Minnesota.
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 Definitely Minnesota.
That defense, man, is just too
Yeah,
good, especially for
tough.
a emerging San Francisco team. I just don't think Jimmy G, man,
Jimmy
won
G.
the last five games of the season last year with San
Jimmy
Francisco.
G
but
might come out still hot.
I just don't see him able to piece those pieces together, even over preseason things like that. I just think Minnesota's got too good of a defense, and the offense is still emerging. Whatever,
You
got the
also-
quarterback issues solved out now this year, and hopefully they're good, ready to go, and just make another miracle happen this year.
Kirk Cousins finally has a team that he can get around and make a playoff run with rather than when he was with the Redskins.
Absolutely, I agree. He's got the weapons to be successful, and that's what every quarterback kind of wants. Like he just wants to be in that position to be successful.
So do we agree that Vikings have
The
top
edge.
5 defense in the year?
Top 5?
Top three.
Top 3.
Top three.
Top
three.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Solid.
So Minnesota with the dub?
Minnesota.
Yes.
Yep.
New Orleans, Tampa Bay.
I'm going to be the first one to comment on this one. I love my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Jameis Winston just can't stay out of trouble, man. He had troubles at Florida State. I think New Orleans wins this by a landslide. I will say that we're in one of the tough divisions in the entire league. We got Atlanta, we got New Orleans, we got Tampa. It's absolutely true, man. We got Carolina in there, too. All three of those teams, besides Tampa Bay, went to the playoffs last year. They had one, of course, in our division and then the wild card and things like that. I think Tampa Bay especially, I think Jameis was out for 3 games. We lose for those first 2 games anyways. With or without Jameis, I think we lose. I wish it wasn't true, but love the team, everything like that. I think we got great things working forward. I think defense is coming together. Definitely need to improve that secondary a little bit, but I think we got a chance to be semi-successful this year. But New Orleans, man, you got 2, rookie of the year on offense and defensive rookie of the year coming out. They're just going to come out, smack them in the mouth. It's not going to be pretty for Tampa Bay week 1.
I would just like to add that the only reason 3 teams in your all's division made it last year is because Zeke was suspended for 6 games, and we went 3-3 in that span. So if we had Zeke, we probably would have went, we would have been playoff ready.
I do have to give you a little bit of admiration on that one. You explained the entire game without mentioning Drew Brees one time. I'm a little impressed.
Drew Brees, obviously, he's getting a little bit older. Same thing, he's looking at like Tom Brady's, Phillip Rivers. They're running out of time there. But like I said, it's coming to that point where if they're going to make a playoff run, man, it's got to be within the next couple of years, man. It's got to happen. I think they tried with Adrian Peterson, which obviously we heard news of this coming up afternoon and things like that. Didn't really work out, but they did find their running backs. Like I said, they found their running backs last season. They've been successful on the ground, in the air, all that good stuff. Drew Brees can make it work. I think he can lead that offense to possibly another championship this year, man. I mean, it's been a while since he's been.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
I think I'll say divisional championship. Divisional championship. I don't think they're making. They might win the division. I'll give them they win the division. I don't think they'll win in the Super Bowl yet. I won't call it too early on that, but I do think they have a good shot.
How many years do you think Brees has?
He signed for 2, right?
I think he's signed for 2, and I think he might go for another year or something like that. I just think at the end of that contract, I don't see him having too much more. He's made his money. He's got his ring. He's done wonderful things for the city of New Orleans altogether. Like I said, he's been there through Katrina, all that good stuff. Like, I just don't see him having too much longer left. I see them looking for a backup quarterback coming up to take over that position, not for too long, either trade or through a draft.
Do you think they draft a quarterback next year?
I feel like
they wasted a pick on it?
I don't think it's wasting a pick at it by any means, but I don't think they go first round. I haven't really looked at the college draft class yet, but I don't think they were going to waste one on that first round.
I don't think you necessarily go first round, but I think you want to get one relatively early, so at least he has a year under Drew.
Absolutely.
I would pick up a free agent if I were them.
Really?
I don't like.
Kaepernick's still out there.
He is, but that's a
whole nother talk.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
Maybe for next week. Maybe for next week. But that's it. I am fully a believer. Like I said, I don't run any NFL teams, of course, but I would much rather see a player like Tyrod going to Cleveland. I would much rather take that chance on a player who's already proved himself that he can play in the league,
100%.
Can absolutely play at that professional level, than take a chance on someone like Baker Mayfield. Or
Let's not forget who's the big name right now. Teddy Bridgewater's out there.
Absolutely, with the Jets. I'm super excited for
somebody's going to have to pick him up.
Especially, like I said, we're Louisville student, things like that. I'm super excited to see how Teddy Bridgewater does. He had a rough go at Minnesota, got hurt and everything like that. Not really anything out of his control and everything. But this year, I think he took a 1 year, like $9 million. He took a low cut. He's out there to play football, man. And obviously, we'll get to that with AFC plays. Prove himself. Absolutely, no doubt.
So we're going New Orleans 100%.
New Orleans 100%, absolutely.
Redskins versus Cardinals. What we got?
Terrible game.
Terrible. Absolutely worst week 1 matchup.
Won't even watch it. Probably won't. It's a Sunday game. I don't know why it's on Sunday. It's gonna be aired.
I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely going to be the Redskins. I think Alex Smith comes out his inaugural game as a Washington Redskin and just shows out. Also, this Arizona defense is pretty trash.
Also, AP.
You do have AP, and who is their starting quarterback? The Cardinals starting quarterback.
It was Carson Palmer last year.
He retired. And their head coach retired.
What was he just got drafted? Josh
Rosen, but
no.
I
don't know if he'll be ready.
Yeah, it's definitely about to be rebuild time in Arizona. Is what it sounds like.
Absolutely, I understand that completely. Like I said, you still can't count out though with Josh Rosen coming in at quarterback. He's very confident in himself, obviously. But you actually got Larry Fitzgerald up there, still always an elite receiver. Every year he's in that name bracket about elite receivers. David Johnson came out, got injured, I think even preseason last year. Come back, going to want to try and make a difference. Patrick Peterson still getting a little bit older. He got traded, didn't he? I'm crazy. He got traded. Patrick Peterson, I believe, got traded to the Chargers.
No,
Did he not?
no. You're sounding like a crazy person.
So if we're going to QB
You're
battle,
very right.
Josh Rosen definitely the quarterback for the future. Sam Bradford starting the year.
I feel like Sam Bradford starts, but he's never been able to get that much traction
No, never.
in his entire career.
He's
so
been a solid backup for his.
yes.
I don't even know if I'd go solid. He's been a backup for his entire career.
He's a lower tier QB, lower tier starting QB.
Yeah.
Either way, I see these two teams bottom of their division. I mean, it's going to be a struggle for them all year. I think Washington has a great chance to come out and surprise a lot of people, especially with the pieces they got coming together, but it's all about
Maybe
how they
AP
can make
has
that
a
work.
bounce back year. He
Absolutely.
really struggled last year with the Saints. So
Absolutely. It could be. Yep. All right, we're going to the next game with Dallas Cowboys and Carolina Panthers.
Dallas.
All right, I guess I'm gonna. No, really?
Dallas.
All right. You obviously have more faith in my team than I do. Our secondary is terrible. Like safeties, corners, they're all young. They're all unproven. Like they have a year or two under them, but they're all unproven. Our first round draft pick was probably the dumbest decision we've ever made.
You lost an elite wide receiver and a tight end, and you didn't pick up an offensive player. It
We
just
did
blows
not.
my mind.
Yes.
I don't understand those play calls from Jerry Jones, but like I said, he
Well,
runs his team
Jerry
the way
Jones
he wants.
doesn't make the play calls, but good try. Good try.
I'm just gonna say I really do love the lovable Ewok, Mr. Zeke Elliott.
I think that it depends on how Dak and Zeke play. If Zeke comes out like he did his rookie year, we'll go 13-3 again. But I don't see it happening this year.
Bold.
I'm going with Carolina,
You're going
and
Carolina.
I think Cam Newton's just too much of a quarterback threat for our defense. We do have one of the best defensive fronts in the league, top half. But
How do y'all feel about McCaffrey?
I was just about to bring him up.
How do y'all feel about him? He's a good receiving back. Seems to be not a great running back.
Yeah, he fits perfect in that. He fits perfect in that offense.
Absolutely, and especially with C.J. Anderson there, that can take that load off of actually running, being a third down back. When every time they're looking to run the ball, that old gritty football style, C.J. Anderson's a great back for that. And like I said, Christian McCaffrey gives him that nice speed off the edge, bubble passes, all that stuff opens up a whole new playbook for Cam, and that's what Cam needs. He needs him a playmaker
Not
like
to
Greg
mention
Olsen.
you have that Hoss at quarterback.
You
Absolutely.
do.
That's why I go
6'6"
Carolina.
battering ram.
You're one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Absolutely. I agree, especially getting on a better team. I think the defense is so strong as always. Luke Kuechly, Julius Peppers, things like that. Defense at Carolina is always strong, especially in that division. Defense is always a strong point in that division. If you can't play offense like that in that division or whatever, play against that hard-nosed defense, it's going to be hard in that division. So I think Carolina's definitely going to come out, beat Dallas.
Little off
pretty
topic.
fairly.
Little off topic. Cam Newton's kind of the LeBron of the NFL. How do y'all feel about how much he complains? Do you think it's deserving complaint? He gets hit.
He does get hit. I saw a stat I think it was last year or the year before that, and he's been hit more than any other quarterback by a substantial number.
I don't know what quarterback takes as much of a beating as him.
Yeah.
He
It's
puts
not
his
like-
body on the line every play.
It's not even like he's not sliding.
No, he just takes it.
He's just getting smacked.
I mean, he hits them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what you see with your typical quarterback.
You saw it with RG3, and RG3's not done. So
And I think he takes a lot of hate. I think his character gets questioned a lot. But I think his heart and soul is in football, and I think he loves the game. And I think he brings it on a nightly basis.
Absolutely. I think the media kind of just portrays him as that kind of guy who does complain a lot like that. But I just think he's a competitive guy, and he wants a fair game, and he wants that same treatment, that he wants that protection. But again, he's got to be careful, though, when he starts becoming an eligible runner and things like that. He's got to realize that they can't protect him outside that pocket.
honestly, I think it is a lot like LeBron. LeBron, it takes more contact for it to look bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's, I think, what you run into with Cam Newton being that big of a back.
Yep. Absolutely. All right.
Alright,
So we
so-
go with Carolina.
Carolina that game. Yes.
All right.
And then Green Bay and
Green Bay
Chicago.
Bears, toss up.
Really?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Not a
Bay?
toss up.
Man, I don't know, man. I really hope that Chicago team comes out, does great things. They had that great. I'd love to see Mr. Trubisky come out and do great things for that team. The Bears did not put together a bad year last year. You got to think about that. Green Bay struggled with Aaron Rodgers. Of course, he's back now and things like that. But I still think they have a chance to make this game close.
I don't know. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is definitely the best quarterback in the league. I mean,
Very true.
Definitely the best
Best?
quarterback.
Top 3?
Not best quarterback. in the
Over
game.
Tom Brady.
Over Tom Brady.
Really?
I think he
I-
gives you like the best in a lot of different things. I mean,
I think
He's
the
one of those guys
most
who-
well-rounded, honestly, probably isn't Tom Brady because Tom Brady has no mobility.
Yes. So all I'm saying is, you saw how bad this Green Bay team did without him last year.
mhm.
Imagine taking Tom Brady off of the Patriots, and just imagine they would still make the playoffs.
How
That
they
team still
how they
makes
doing
the
that 4-game stretch? That 4-game stretch with Jimmy G. 3-1, right?
3-1, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it shows he's a very systematic quarterback. I still think he's a great quarterback by all means. He knows how to
Yeah,
read defense and things
for
like that. He's a veteran quarterback. Like a lot of the guys in the league are. But
One
he
thing-
does still maintains to make plays.
One thing we can't forget about Jordan Howard, monster year last year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so he
Monster year.
might run into the same thing where you've got that sophomore slump, but I still think, like I said, he is an absolute
Fair.
demon on that offense. He's
Almost
going to be the
1,300
guy.
yards in his rookie season.
He's going to be the guy to get that whole Chicago team over the next few years started and getting ready to actually put them back into a dynasty where they can come and actually make playoffs and win divisions, things like
That's a
that.
good word.
Absolutely.
Dynasty, really.
Chicago's
We're going dynasty
definitely
again.
Chicago's definitely hungry. I can see that.
They're on the incline. They're a younger team,
For
too.
sure. Yep.
Absolutely. That's the thing, especially with, like, you don't see in like a team like Carolina versus Chicago. There is no real ego there. You don't have big name guys. Of course, you got Jordan Howard, who just made his name last year. And you
Yeah.
got Mr. Trubisky, and every quarterback's always known. But like I said, these guys, I just don't. The ego's not there. Like I said, they get to build that themselves. They don't. There's a lot of people that don't expect a lot from them, but that's what they can come out, really just smash them in the mouth, play hard nosed football, and surprise a couple guys. Definitely won't be in the lower half of the league this year. I don't believe.
I still have Green Bay.
I have
Yeah.
Green Bay.
I
But
have Green Bay. I just have
I think
good
it's
hopes for
I-
Chicago.
I think Chicago could do something this year.
Absolutely.
Definitely Green Bay.
Green Bay. All right, now we're
Jacksonville Giants. How do y'all feel about it?
Jaguars.
Definitely Jaguars. I feel like Saquon doesn't have a good first game. I mean, it's his first game. I mean, it's his first actual season game, getting first team reps. I don't think the Giants' offensive line is as
Question: Is Odell ready game 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%? Okay.
Absolutely.
How do you think he does on the bounce back?
Against Jacksonville corners, not too well.
Yeah, they're gonna live and like strive behind the defense.
Yeah.
And
Do you think they attack his legs?
I mean, no, I don't think.
I don't see anything dirty
Yeah.
happening.
I,
but I
I'm,
see
I'm
it
not. I'm not
football.
saying dirty, but you don't think? Do you think they
Oh, yeah.
wrap up low?
Oh yeah, they wrap up low
I'm
definitely.
not one
I
to
mean,
think
it's
of a
attacking.
team as malicious, but no, I just don't see it.
Montez perfect.
We'll talk about. We'll get into that too as well. We'll get into that.
But yeah, definitely. Saquon strong comparisons to Zeke, his rookie year. But I just don't think that the offensive line of the Giants is as well as the Cowboys was that year. And the only reason Zeke did that well his rookie year is because of our offensive line. And definitely Saquon has an amazing year, but just not week 1.
Eli Manning, Hall of Famer.
I think possibly he's
2
got
Super
the
Bowls.
last couple years to figure that out though. It's all on him whether or not he's a huge Hall of Famer like his brother was. Even though Peyton had 2 or 3 Super Bowls, just the way he kind of held himself and things like that, the way he led teams just
All
made
the
him a Hall
records
of
he
Fame.
owns.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I think Eli's got that chance. Eli's just got to come
I'm
back
not
and
even
show.
saying first ballot. Just do you think he gets on?
Oh yeah. Eventually he gets in, but definitely not first ballot. He's not first ballot.
So we're
worthy.
going Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially Jacksonville because they got a taste last year.
Mhm.
They got a
Yeah.
taste, and
Yep.
now they're gonna want more.
Just that offense, man, needs a lot of work. I mean, Blake Bortles is not, in any means, I think, a starting
Have-
quality quarterback in this league. I don't think so. The Leonard Fournette is the best thing coming out of that offense. They have hardly any decent receivers.
They lost them all.
I'm gonna say even then, it's like I don't think you can't even really name receivers. I think they have Marquez Lee, or did they trade him as well?
I'm not.
I just think
Not entirely sure.
the defense carries them into the playoffs, but I think it fizzles out after that. And it's just I'm not for sure. All right, we'll go move on to the next
Seattle,
game.
Denver.
Absolutely.
Seattle has a ton of questions on defense.
Absolutely. That's why if this was a couple years ago, it'd be the battle of defense, man. This would be
Oh, yeah.
3-1 final score, whatever it'd be.
Super Bowl rematch.
Absolutely.
A couple
From
years ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, but I don't think that Seattle has the defense anymore. They're all getting hurt, or they're retiring, or Earl Thomas is in the contract dispute with them right now. Hopefully Dallas can trade for him, but Russell Wilson's the heart and soul of that team.
He can't do it all.
And he cannot do it all. Like he's the only one making plays on that team.
And even then, like the Seattle, not only just the defense, but the offense has faded away too. Trading away one of their better tight ends to Green Bay. All they really had, man, Doug Baldwin. They
Tyler
got
Lockett.
They got Brandon Marshall from the Giants a couple years ago, or whatever it was. But it's just looking bleak for Seattle, and a team that had the Legion of Boom and had a chance to definitely be one of the better defenses in the league. They just kind of might be fizzling out here for the next few years. But like I said, week one will tell. A big part of how they handle adversity with Denver. I'm not saying Denver's a top-tier team, but Denver's definitely one of those better teams, especially on a defensive scale. But I think Denver also comes out, has a good year this year. I think some of their wide receivers come back, have a bounce-back year. Just wasn't very good last year. I hope they come back, make some better adjustments this year.
Case Keenum, how well does he do in Denver?
I think he showed in Minnesota that he can lead an offense, lead a team, be a franchise quarterback, even possibly. But I still, like I said, a couple pieces got to come together, see how they work together. These are professional guys. I'm sure they'll make it work, but you just can't beat the kinds of things that Gronk and Brady have when they've played for all these years, and you can't just do that in 6 months. I mean, it's hard to put that together on go over every route, how he wants it thrown, where he wants it, and things like that, what they look like for in coverage and things like that. It's hard. Of course, they are professional guys. They're going to do a great job of doing that, but I just think they might need a year or two to be better.
So we got Denver on this one for sure.
Denver, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jets, Lions.
Lions. I think Lions have one of the most underrated defenses in the league right now. Even offensive-wise, Matthew Stafford, man, not too long ago he was the highest-paid quarterback before Derek Carr got that ridiculous contract. I still think he's got it in him. I think the receivers and things like that need to work with him a little bit more, but I think the Lions also have a good year this year.
I'm actually going to disagree with you and go with the Jets. I think that their quarterback battle is one actually surprising. I mean, they have a problem that very few teams have, and they have too many good quarterbacks.
Who's the starting quarterback week one?
Definitely.
Sam Darnold.
No. I don't
Really?
think Sam Darnold's
Yeah, McCown.
Yeah, McCown or Teddy. You get.
Yeah, I think. Do you think Teddy's still with them at that point? Do you think they keep 3 QBs on the roster to start the season?
Absolutely. They only gave him for 1 year. It's a 1-year contract. I think they're going to let him play. I think Teddy's working his butt off right now in New York to try and prove himself. Like I said, he took a low-cut deal or whatever, and that was just a shot. That's all he wants right now, and I think he's got a good shot of earning that starting position.
With how good Teddy's looked so far in the preseason, do you think there's a shot in the world that he starts at any point this season?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not week 1, but
Oh, yeah. If I feel like if he continues to show out like he has,
especially if they have just a question mark at quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Like, Sam Darnold is obviously a big question mark. He's played in, the big cities all of his life, and he's playing in New York now. But, I mean, he shines brightest when the lights are on him.
I think this game's a toss-up.
Teddy will not finish the year out with the Jets.
I think he gets traded.
He'll definitely get
I
traded.
think they're really just showcasing him right now to raise his stock.
Absolutely, and I was say they could use that as something later on down the road to fill a spot that the Jets do need.
Like we said, a team like New Orleans, Chicago might need a quarterback down the road.
I'm not gonna say I'd be mad if the Bengals got him.
I definitely think they'll let him play. Like you said, they're going to show his talents.
market him basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just all a marketing tool. I mean,
Because it's not like they're really losing a ton of money on that deal if they have to if they decide to get rid of him.
So who are we going with on this game?
It's a toss-up, man.
yeah,
Just for tonight's purposes, we are recording this on the 16th. Teddy Bridgewater
21st.
21st. I'm sorry. I was way off. Week two of the preseason. I was looking at this. Week 2 of the preseason, he went 10 for 15 for 127 yards. I don't think he did bad. Like I said, still preseason versus
1 TD,
Washington.
1 interception.
Yeah, like I said, that's
mean,
not bad.
That's not bad.
That's starting quarterback potential.
Instead of QBR of 87.
I'm gonna go with the Jets on this one for sure. That's my lock.
I'm going to go Lions.
I'm going to Lions.
Lions.
Lions, all right.
One more.
Lions.
All right, we
Lions
got
4-1. All right.
Lions 4-1.
Oakland Rams.
Beast mode.
Battle of California.
Really?
don't know.
I'm just saying, did y'all see the run from Marshawn Lynch?
His
The one
burst
that
of
got
speed.
the one that got called back. How old is that man? And he left
30,
everyone.
31, 32 around that.
He left
He
everybody
did.
with ease.
But I'm just going to say this. Los Angeles is my favorite for the NFC to go to the Super Bowl.
Really?
That-
Absolutely, dude. Their defense, monsters.
that-
Aaron Donald, you got
McDonald and
Sue,
Sue.
you got Keith Lee, Marcus Peters. You got all these big names. That's what kind of like we were talking about with the Jets and everybody. They not a lot of big names, but they have a lot of big names. It's the exact opposite. They have a lot of big names. We got to see if all those personalities can play well together.
I know it means nothing. Rams did beat Oakland in the preseason.
Okay.
So
Just tossing that
Well,
out.
that's
there.
any indicator that we know what to put.
I'm just saying that the Rams have such an explosive offense that we saw last year. I mean, obviously,
Todd Gurley, Jared
yeah,
Goff.
we've learned that from season to season it can vary, but the Rams really didn't lose that much this year. They mostly just made acquisitions and made their team stronger than
Well,
they
they
already
definitely only got better, and
Yeah.
I'd say their defense is, it's scary.
are. That I have them as my top defense in the league.
It's getting to
For
the
sure.
point of
Well, I can
Golden
agree with
State
that.
level in the NFL. If they start, if they keep getting, I'm serious. If they keep getting better, they're getting to that point. It's like they're maybe missing. Of course, Todd Gurley is an absolute monster at running back.
Got him in fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really happy about that.
You're missing maybe an extra key wide receiver. Not saying Cooper Kupp isn't good, but missing maybe an extra piece or two. And man, they're gonna be unstoppable.
So they're looking for their Kevin Durant.
They're looking for their KD. Someone, hey Dez, let them know. Let them know you're looking at LA.
Dez to LA.
We don't need any more.
Absolutely. Confirmed here first, actually, believe it or not. We still got a little bit of time left. We went through all our games for week one. We'll go ahead and start out that we all have a little bit of bias, as you can probably tell. I'm a big Tampa Bay fan. We got a big Cowboys fan and two big Bengals fan and an undecided here. So I feel like we can go through this last little bit, talk about problems we might have with our team, where we think we'll shine. We shined a little bit on each during the game, but we can also talk about interesting storylines throughout the preseason that we've been looking at as well.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to throw out there as a Bengals fan is I think had we fired Marvin Lewis and hired
Literally anybody.
anybody else, we'd be ranked so much higher.
Absolutely.
And it's so much hate, and I understand it.
But I mean, can you blame him?
No, I mean I was all for the camp to fire him, to get him out of here. I really was, and now that we signed him, I have nothing but to do to just support it, unfortunately. But I think Joe Mixon's special. I think he's shown that he can be a good receiving back. He can run. All he was missing was a good offensive line.
Especially that week one highlight where he just battled for 15 yards getting the end zone. Now he was absolutely in any other player, honestly, is down there, runs out of bounds, finishes out the play. He just fights through it, and like I said, he's got that fight for him, even in preseason games. So I believe he's got it. I believe you also got a big component in John Ross there being an amazing speed back. I don't even think Andy Dalton can outthrow him. I just think he just lobs it up there, goes as fast as he can, and it's just, especially you get some of those slower cornerbacks to just smoke them completely.
And even if John Ross doesn't become, let's say, an elite wide receiver, if he can just take some of the pressure off of A.J. Green,
Absolutely.
that's a big deal.
Tyler Eifert
Absolutely.
coming back takes a ton of pressure off of
Oh,
AJ
if
Green.
Tyler Eifert comes back, we'll finally have a good red zone presence again. We were lacking that so much, and it's been so unfortunate.
we really need Andy Dalton to,
Step it up a little bit.
He's definitely
be a
the
little bit
most
more
average.
efficient. Yeah.
He's definitely the most average quarterback. He's not bad. He's definitely not great. But I think he'll suffice.
I mean,
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day. He's definitely not elite. He's definitely not questionable elite. But he's one of the better average quarterbacks.
yeah, he's.
Better average is what we strive for here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
That's why you have Marvin Lewis as a coach.
That's why. That's why our baseball team sometimes
Yeah.
wins games.
I mean, you just got to make sure Joe Mixon stays away from all the women so he doesn't beat them. You know, like he did in Oklahoma.
That's-
And,
Well, let's bring that up.
and AJ Green away from cornerbacks.
Yeah.
It's
He likes to throw.
Yeah, it's not okay to
He
choke
really
slam
likes to
corners,
throw.
believe it or not.
But can we talk about the biggest saint on the team, Vontaze Burfict?
Vontaze Burfict has got to go.
He should be
By
knighted.
far
He should
my
be knighted
least-
by the queen.
He
Absolutely.
is by far my least favorite player on the team.
I think our defense is so much better when he plays, when he's not racking up penalties.
Yeah, but that's the
when
thing.
he's not
He-
racking up penalties.
He can't not rack up penalties.
That's a good point.
I like him though. Like I said, I like
especially with the new rule, he's gonna look at a player and get a penalty. There's no way that he can stay on the field more than 10 seconds.
He has that bad rap, and he's somewhat earned that rap, especially like I said, with the divisional rivals with Pittsburgh and everything. there's obviously tension there every
Yeah.
time they play. Like Juju knocking him down. Like I said, Juju got hit with a hefty fine and a game suspension, I believe.
I don't think that's a big deal. He ended a man's career.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, he absolutely deserved it. Like I'm not going to wish that on anybody, but he just sometimes he might push the line too far. And like I said, sometimes a clean block would be better than throwing a shoulder. And like I said, with that new rule coming in, hopefully it protects the players a little bit more. But also, I want defenses to be able to play defense. I'm
It's
tired.
not going to happen this year.
I know. I hope they evaluate this rule before the season starts and realize that this might be an end of an era. Like, genuinely, defenses. It's at this point. Like, I understand that offense has people watching games. They want to see that 45-50 scoreboard. Like when time Deshaun Watson went up against who was it last year? I think it was the Rams or somebody. No, it was Seattle against Russell Wilson. Everyone loved that game. That was one of the top. It was a huge game, but defense is also an important part of football. The real football fans love to watch a good defensive stand. They love watching that 9-7 game. Like they would love to see. I mean, even if it's not a pick six, but it's like a 3 and out. Like I said, you can respect that from a football player's, a football like fan standpoint. That team stood up, like stood their ground and stopped an offense.
I want to bring up a question. Do you think Burfict can get away from that dirty title? You saw it with Ndamukong Suh. He's gotten away from it a little bit because he's kind of just like quieted down and stopped twisting people's ankles. But can Burfict get away from it? How long does it take him to not be a dirty player anymore?
He just got to do something equally as, like I said, he has that wow factor about him where he gets hurt and things like that. I apologize. I'll let you talk here in just a second. He's got that wow factor about him. He's just got to do something to just change the script on him. Kind of just like I said, he's got to be able to find some way else for people to like. Hey, that was a good play. It wasn't a dirty play. It was a good play. He had an amazing play on the ball, things like that. He's just got to reevaluate how he does things, I guess.
Just see the DeMarcus Cousins of the NFL, or Zaza
Zaza.
Pachulia.
Zaza.
Yeah.
He's a Zaza of the NFL.
I think this year is a big year for him because if he can't stay on the field because of these penalties, especially with this new rule, he's not going to be there.
That's
I
the
think
thing,
we
though.
have
If he
some good
does stay
young-
on the field with the penalty or with the new rule, it's a good year for him.
Well, we got some good young linebackers coming up that can take his spot if he can't prove to control himself. And honestly, I don't think that he thinks he's doing anything wrong.
I really don't. I think he's just there. He's having
He's
a
out
great
there
time.
playing football. He's out there playing his version. He doesn't care who gets it.
You're right. It's his version. It's nobody else's. He's out there. I'm gonna kill who I want to kill.
So he is Zaza Pachulia.
Yes.
It could be Vince McMahon's version, and he could go to the XFL. You never know.
Honestly, I think he would kill it there. He might kill somebody, but he would for sure kill it there.
All right.
We'll go ahead and move
I want
on
to bring up
Go ahead.
one more thing.
Huh?
What's that? What's the receiver's name?
AJ?
I absolutely love him.
Oh, you were
The
talking
big
about
dude. I've talked about him so much I can't think of his name. Alden.
Tate.
Alden Tate. Love that guy. Slow. My God, he is a massive man.
I mean, he doesn't really have to jump to get the
He
ball.
doesn't. Have you seen his highlights?
I have.
He is snagging everything. He's Odelling people, but he's 6'5" and can't run.
I do like that, he answers the questions of everybody saying he's moved to tight end, being how slow and how big he is. And he's just saying out there that he's playing his version of football. And he keeps amazing people. They don't understand how he's doing what he's doing, how he's making these catches, how he's getting separation. And I like that he's, willing to face those criticisms and show that he can play football. He's got a
solid
spot.
man. I don't know if he's starting, but he's gonna get reps.
No.
He'll get reps,
Oh, yeah.
especially
Starting-
red zone. You throw a 6'5" receiver out there in the red zone.
Actually, I believe that's one of the. I think he might be off by an inch or two. That's one of the taller players to play on offense, anyways.
I think
as a
he's-
receiver.
As a receiver, yes.
Yes,
He's-
absolutely, as a
but yeah, I
receiver.
think he's up there Gronk size almost.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what I'm gonna say. And like I said, he can play where he fits. I think is be the best spot for him.
All right. So.
We're gonna move a little bit south down to Dallas, see what kind of questions and everything they have going on for them.
All right. Obviously, like our biggest, not weakness, but it would be our, we're a pretty young team. Besides our offensive line, we're very young. In any other any other position, obviously you have Dak Prescott. He's questionable without Zeke or a good running back. You know, we picked up Bo Scarborough in the 7th round, which was an amazing pickup in my
That's a
opinion.
big guy.
He
That's
is.
a big man.
Yeah,
That's
in
terrifying
college,
dude.
Yeah, in college he was great in college. You know, he's our backup for Zeke. We picked up Mike White. You know, he's obviously going to be our 3rd string quarterback behind Cooper Rush. You know, our receivers, we have Michael Gallup, which we picked up in the 2nd round, I think. You know, we have Terrence Williams, who's shown that he can be an elite receiver. Just it's doubtful. He has his moments. You know, our offensive line is all back and healthy. We're all good. Our defensive front, we're one of the best in the league, top half, and not one of the best, top half. We have Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence. You know, we picked up Taco Charlton not too long ago.
Say Taco?
Taco, yeah.
That's a great name.
And then you know, we have Jalen Smith, Sean Lee, Van Esch is his last name that we picked up the 1st round, which is ridiculous. But you know, our corners and our safeties are our biggest question. You know, one of them's our backup kicker. If Dan Bailey gets hurt, obviously Dan Bailey is a big part of the offense too, because he up until last year he was the most accurate kicker in NFL history. You know, he's just got to stay healthy if we want to win those close games. Chris Jones, the Punisher, you know, he's making a name for himself. He's been making a name for himself for the past 3 years. Just our biggest question coming into this year is our secondary, how well they can perform and how well they can adjust from last year to this year.
All right, we'll go a little bit even further south down into Tampa Bay. Big thing about Tampa, man, it's been it's been rough. From 2011 to 2015, we were placed 4th in the division. 2016, we placed 2nd in the division, and then back down to 4th. It was a quick rise to fame, then graceful fall back down to the last place. Went 5-11 last year. 5-11 last year, not really what you want on any professional team. I think we have a great couple tight ends with O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. I think the biggest question as the Dallas could be one of our biggest questions would be running back, of course. Doug Martin, he's had a couple good years, traded him away to Oakland. Right now, it's a couple guys just sitting there kind of fighting it out for him, who's going to start out. We also have a great starting front 4 or whatever on defense. We got Vita Vea coming in. Not sure if he's going to really start yet, but you have your Noah Spence. You got JPP picked up from New York. Levante David at linebacker. Hargraves at corner. He hasn't been an elite corner since
JPP can be
2012.
explosive.
Wow. Gerald McCoy, obviously a big guy down in there. Mike Evans, Jameis Winston. Of course, we had those off-field issues with Jameis, but I think Mike Evans is also a very elite receiver, big, tall guy. Julio-like, I would say. I'm not comparing him to Julio in any means, but he's a very tall possession receiver, but can also make a run for it and things like that too. I think we got a good year this year. I don't think we come out of last place, but I do think we do better than 5-11.
So who's your quarterback? Your starting quarterback from weeks 1 to 3.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, the man, the myth, the legend, a veteran quarterback. He actually started several games last year while Jameis was hurt, and I believe he's played for 3 or 4 games, and I think he did just as good as Jameis. I think he won 1 or 2 games
Just
during
as
that
good.
time. Yeah, Jameis was not good at the beginning of the season last year.
Jameis is going downhill.
I just think Jameis needs a couple more years. I'm not going to say he needs to mature because I don't know if he will. He's had multiple off-season or off-field concerns and things like that, but a couple more years I'm hoping. This is a hope kind of thing right now. I don't have any real evidence behind this. Defense is keeping us in there, but offense just got to come together behind Jameis, or we need to find another quarterback.
Number 1 way to success: do not let Jameis Winston get in an Uber.
Absolutely,
Very true.
100%. Don't let him. Hey, I tell you
Don't
what.
let him do anything.
He needs to go to his home, to his beautiful wife and kids, and stay there just for now on. Either that or just stay on
Practice
site.
games home. Practice game home. That's it.
Yep.
That's all he gets.
I think Florida's a dangerous place for him.
And
Absolutely.
especially for somebody
There's
with his
so many
track
crabs
record.
there. Like, it's really just rough place
You're telling
for
me
him
you
to go
don't
to.
just walk on campus and just pick up crabs and walk away with them? That's ridiculous, man. I don't think any college football player should have to pay for that. Obviously,
I don't think they should have to pay for anything.
So
They should be given all of the crabs.
one of the biggest questions.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them have crabs.
One of the biggest questions coming into this year is will the Browns win a game?
Yes.
Yes. However, I'm not behind the hype that they're going to come out and be the second best in the division or the third best in the division. They're just
8-8.
not there yet. What?
8-8.
No.
What?
8-8.
I think they have some good young pieces, but they're just not there.
8-8.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm gonna say they got Hard Knocks there in Cleveland this year. Love what they've been doing. Everyone loves to follow that underdog story, of course, with Cleveland. Even they're down there in the dog pound.
Underdog.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think there could possible college. I think Alabama's team last year could come and beat Cleveland. And like I said, I think they got a new face on the franchise with Tyrod, with Juice coming in there, even possibility of Dez, Josh Gordon coming back.
What do we think about that? Do we think Dez is going to end up in there?
With Josh Gordon coming back, it's a toss-up. I don't know. He really wants to be there, and nobody else wants Dez. So let's see how that works out for them, I guess.
I think Cleveland doesn't necessarily search for Dez. Dez has got to come to them. Like I said, Dez came in, he walked out of Dallas, and he literally said, I'll see y'all, I'll play y'all twice a year, saying he's going to be in the same division. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think he was cocky. I think he wanted to get paid more than what he thought he was worth. He was a good receiver, not so much anymore. I think he'd be a good spot in there. Josh Gordon kind of covers his spot, but I still think, obviously, you still got an elite receiver like Dez come in and still make plays. He's getting older, but he's better than those unproven Corey Colemans who they just traded away to the Bills and things like that.
If Dez does go to the Browns, that is probably the team with the highest, probably not the highest potential, but the highest level of greatness in receiving core in the league.
Absolutely.
My question, though, is
Can
the
they
Browns...
make it? Can they get it together?
Well, I mean, not even that, but the Browns are in such a big youth movement, and we all understand why. I mean, does Dez fit it? Does he fit in? I mean, is it too late for him? Is it too old?
I don't think he's too old. I mean,
He still produces.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his last few years in Dallas weren't that well. The last time he performed well was 2012, 2013 when Tony Romo was, a god that year, and we lost to the Packers on
A catch call.
Yes, on a catch call that they had, called back, just recently, said that it would have counted, but that was his last good year. That was his last memorable year in Dallas. When Prescott was taking over, he threw to, Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams a lot. He found different options that Tony Romo usually never threw to.
Maybe that's what Dez needs, though. Maybe he just needs a fresh start. Like you said, he might have had that over his head for a long time. Like you said, he's been playing the same opponents for a while. He's been in the league for a while. Might need something fresh, especially with that Cleveland team. Got a lot of hype built up around it. Maybe that's where it's at.
Talking about players. You go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess where my issue is a team like Cleveland needs to have such good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They need everything they can get, and if you have a bunch of young guys who are now been together for a little bit, maybe they start building their own culture. And then you bring in somebody, a vet, who has the way he does things.
You think he buys into that culture, or do you think
I don't think he will. I think he's going to bring his own biases, his own opinions, because he's proven he knows what he wants to do. And if he tries to shake it up, the chemistry is so rocky already. I mean, you don't want to rock the boat too far.
I have a question with the Browns. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor's their Week 1 starter. Do you think Baker takes it? He looked good preseason.
Baker takes it in Week 9 if they're not doing well. If Tyrod is producing, if Tyrod is winning, 5-6 games, no, Baker doesn't take it.
What do they do with him? If he is producing, what do they do with him?
They stash him. They stash him and trade him.
Absolutely. I don't think they trade him. I think they keep him around, keep him on a clipboard. I think it's the same thing like Lamar should do. I think he should sit behind Joe Flacco, even though it might not be. I think everyone wants Lamar to come out and be good. Even they want Baker to come out and be an amazing quarterback. I think with the quarterbacks they have in place on both teams, they can afford to sit for a little bit and learn
for sure.
And even play that garbage time that maybe they're up or they're down by a lot to get used to this level of play and to be able to learn the game a little bit more and things like that. I just think it'll be beneficial for both. Now, maybe they are forced down that road. Maybe Joe Flacco goes out and gets his head absolutely blown off and Lamar's in and Lamar kills it. But he could not too.
Like a Dallas situation?
Absolutely. It could be like that. Like I said, it's a toss up. It's and history repeats itself, it doesn't serve him well if he has to be thrown into that role. You've seen Cleveland try how many times with quarterbacks that have been unproven, untested.
Their coach said they don't want to play a rookie.
Absolutely.
They said we need to let him learn.
Absolutely. And I think that new GM, John Dorsey, comes in there. I think he's going to do great moves. I don't see Hugh Jackson staying in there for long. I think he gets cut for too long. Like I said, I've watched
8-8. Does he get cut?
No.
But they're not going to
Stays.
go 8-8.
No. If they win less than 3 games, Hugh Jackson gets cut.
With their division, I don't see them going 8-8. They have a tough division.
They really they do.
Well,
They do.
yeah. Pittsburgh
The
mainly.
thing is, it's mainly Pittsburgh. The other two
I mean,
I don't think we've
Ravens
been
are-
alive since Pittsburgh hasn't really won the
Yeah.
division. Besides that one year the Ravens went to the Super Bowl. I don't even know if they won a division that year. They might have won even one.
Okay, I got a question. So, Ben Roethlisberger came out and said he was scared about the whole CTE thing,
Mhm.
and then gets put in the concussion protocol.
Yes.
Does this affect how much longer he's playing?
are yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think it's his last year.
I think it's his last year.
Very well could be his last year.
This year or next year is definitely
You
his
gotta
last
think.
year. Yeah.
He questioned coming back this year.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's got a concussion. I
Yeah.
think he has no want anymore to play.
Nope.
Absolutely. You're going to start seeing the end of an era. Like you got Big Ben, Tom Brady, these guys that played for one team, Drew Brees,
Aaron
Philip
Rodgers.
Rivers,
Well,
Aaron Rodgers.
Drew Brees played. for
Aaron
two.
Rodgers has a couple more years, but you see these guys who's played for one team for a while, and I think you're gonna start seeing these guys that played somewhere, and then they go somewhere else to prove themselves, and then that's when they finally get that starting job. Like they get a couple more years under their belt. They might not stay at one team forever. I think that might be start of something new.
End of an era. I think it's an end of an era in Pittsburgh. Le'Veon
Definitely.
Bell, I don't
Last
think
year,
he
he's
stays.
definitely not re-signing. Definitely
The
not.
thing is, a lot of people think he's asking too much. With how much Todd Gurley just got paid, I don't think you can say he's asking too much.
Le'Veon has been consistently the best back in the NFL.
Absolutely. Like I
You
said,
know
he's a
Antonio Brown getting hurt.
top 5 every year since he's been in the league.
Yes.
What is he asking? 12 or 15, and then Todd Gurley just got 15.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's not asking for anything.
And especially
ridiculous.
compared to NBA money, that's nothing. I know,
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
nothing.
obviously set up differently and things like that, but I think NFL as a whole, especially with the whole CTE thing coming out, a lot of players are anxious about whether or not staying or going or whatever. I think they absolutely deserve to get paid. Like I said, all about who fronts that bill, whether the owners are going to take a cut, whether or not it's going to be more expensive for fans to watch.
The owners are not taking
Absolutely
a cut.
not, and that's what I'm gonna say. That's why I think stadium prices are probably gonna get a little bit more expensive, and that's why the NFL, if they're not careful, the NBA has already done a great job at producing a great fan base over the past couple of years. The NFL, if you asked me in 2015, what's the best league in the nation, it's gonna be the NFL. But the NFL, man, is just it's just been falling
NFL is
apart
still
right now
most
with-
viewed, most liked.
Absolutely.
But it's getting closer.
It's getting
I think the NBA, it's right on their heels.
They're not-
It's catching up.
Numbers wise, it's 36% of Americans say the NFL is the best league. 11% say NBA.
Yeah.
I think it's a politics thing that's going to bring the NFL down. Not only like the whole anthem thing, and we're not even going to get into that, but like the CTE thing and all that good stuff. Like it just comes with a lot of stuff that people don't really like. Some people don't want to endorse that. Like I said, you see these guys going out there, and of course they are getting paid absolutely amazing. They're going to take care of their kids, kids, and all that good stuff. But I just don't see it staying, especially if some of these rules changes where they're going to divide the fan base into football fans and people who like to see Tom Brady throw up 500 yards a game. Like I said, I just don't see it working out with them limiting the defense.
Do you think the NFL kind of goes on the NBA and MLS route where they start putting advertisement on the jerseys? They're already doing it. They're already doing it with their like practice jerseys.
Yeah.
It's definitely a possibility, and that's the way they could front more money. Like I said, I'm not sure how they going to agree to do that, but
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that they do because they're realizing that this is kind of like a cash cow. They're going to try and
They're
milk
now
it.
the only league not doing it.
Yeah, they're
I think they're the only league not doing it now.
hockey.
Yeah, maybe
NHL.
okay, maybe NHL.
Yeah, I mean,
not a big
That's such a
NHL
niche
fan,
market though. So
yeah, but like they're gonna realize, hey, the NBA is getting all this money just from advertisements on the jerseys. Let's milk this, and we can get all this extra money that we can throw towards the fans, which probably isn't gonna
yeah, it's
happen.
not gonna happen.
The
They're gonna get
owners.
they're gonna get that advertisement and raise all their prices as well.
Because that's just what people do. But you're gonna send it to the owners, the coaches, some of the players.
Or just one number I want to bring up when we're talking about the patches. The Warriors got $60 million.
Yeah,
for their
it's huge.
patch.
It's huge.
So I mean, if the NFL could, get any amount close to that, which they can't, I mean, I think you got to get revenue somewhere for these players.
You know, I think we have brought up a lot of discussions that could easily be brought up in another podcast and really run the whole length of a podcast.
Absolutely, we'll get to those topics.
Yeah,
on a
we
later
for
date.
sure will get to them. There's a lot of things, a lot of places we can go with this. With that being said, I would like to thank you on behalf of all of us for tuning into our first podcast. We really hope you enjoyed it, and there will be many more to come.